One blind guy, 8 random books. This is Blind Guy in a Bookstore. Round 1. Hello everyone, Mason here. How are you doing? Now I always thought there'd be some sort of magical force field preventing me from entering a physical bookstore. But the other day, I actually managed to get inside one. Sort of. It was a WH Smith, and they do sell other things, so maybe they just thought I was going to buy a board game or something. Well, joke's on them. After skillfully sneaking past the deadly lasers, the highly trained, highly vicious guard dogs, and the killer robots, I finally managed to make it upstairs to where they keep all the books. And then I wandered round, randomly pointing at things. The first thing I pointed at was the only empty slot on that particular shelf. There was lots of pointing above the shelves and off to the sides. Somehow, on a few occasions, I even managed to point at the same book multiple times. And that's crazy, because I couldn't do that if I tried. So here's the deal. I went to the general fiction, crime and thriller, young adult, and bestseller sections, selecting 2 books from each. Now you're going to pick one, I'm going to pick one, the Wheel of Names is going to pick one, and then I'm going to read them in February. Bit complicated? Yeah, I know. Still fun though. At least it is for me. Now I've explained exactly how this works, it's time to tell you what the books are. Starting with General Fiction. The Marriage Pact by Michelle Richmond. 3.6 average rating. Alice and Jake are a picture-perfect couple. Alice was once a singer in a well-known rock band, and Jake is a partner in a psychology firm. Alright, let me stop you right there, Michelle. She went from being a rock star to a lawyer, and not just a lawyer, a successful lawyer, and he's a partner in a psychology firm. Let me check. Yeah, it's coming in at a strong 10 out of 10 on the BS scale. Anyway, where was I? Their life together seems to hold endless possibilities. After receiving an enticing wedding gift from one of Alice's most prominent clients, Alice and Jake decide to join an exclusive, mysterious group known as the Pact. The group has one goal: to keep marriages happy and intact. Their rules seem to make sense. Always answer the phone when your partner calls. Exchange meaningful gifts monthly. Plan a trip together once per quarter. Never mention the Pact. At first, Alice and Jake are enamoured by the glamour of the group, the parties, the widening social circle, but then one of them breaks the rules. They quickly learn that membership to the Pact, just like marriage, is for life, and the group will do anything to enforce that rule. Alice and Jake's dream marriage is about to become their worst nightmare. How do they break the rules though? That's what I want to know. Alice doesn't answer the phone when Jake calls because she's on the toilet. Jake doesn't think the pair of socks Alice bought him is a meaningful gift. The Pact doesn't count that steamy night they spent in a Premier Inn as a quarterly trip. There are so many possibilities. I don't know, this sounds alright. There's potential for it to be quite fun. There's also potential for it to be utterly boring. But who knows? Someone I Used to Know by Page 2. 4.4 average rating. Then, George is the foster brother that Leah never asked for, but as the angry, troubled boy struggles to come to terms with his circumstances, Leah finds herself being drawn closer to him. Theo's wealthy family have mysteriously pulled him out of boarding school, and is now enrolled in the local state school alongside Leah and George. When the lives of the 3 teenagers collide that summer, they form what they think will be an unbreakable bond, but life doesn't always go to plan. Now, shocking news brings Leah back to Yorkshire with her baby daughter, but Amelia's father Theo isn't with them. George has also made a shocking return. Will returning home set their hearts in a new direction? So much can change in half a lifetime. I just told you the description. I've read that description at least a dozen times prepping for this video. Still don't know what it's about. I guess it's just going to be a bit of a drama about their lives. What happened in the past? What's happening now? Why did they leave Yorkshire? What's brought them back? But am I the only one that thinks that the way the description is worded, it sort of sounds like Leah and George are going to fall in love? I honestly have no idea what I think about this one. Sounds interesting though, I guess. Next up. Crime and Thriller. Someone We Know by Sharila Penner, 3.94 average rating. This is a difficult letter to write. I hope you won't hate us too much. My son broke into your house recently while you were out. In a leafy suburb of upstate New York. Why did I do that accent if it's set in New York? Because I can't do a New York accent, obviously. In a leafy suburb of upstate New York, a teenager has been breaking into people's houses, into their computers, sharing their secrets. After 2 anonymous letters are posted, whispers begin to circulate, and when a woman is found murdered, the tension reaches its breaking point. Who killed her? Who knows more than they're saying? And what will all these nice people do to protect their secrets? Maybe you don't know your neighbours as well as you thought. You never really know what someone's capable of. I love that these type of domestic thrillers that are all about exploring community and what goes on behind closed doors, without fail, every time try to pretend that we all know our neighbours and are friends with them. Other than a quick, "Alright mate," as we walk past each other, I don't have any interaction with my neighbours. I don't know them, I'm definitely not friends with them. Wouldn't mind knowing their secrets though, that'd be fun. I'm just nosy like that. This one doesn't sound too bad, pretty average as far as thrillers go, but I've heard good things about the author. I wonder whether they'll keep who the teenager is a mystery or whether the audience will know from the start. I think the latter sounds more interesting. Blunt Force by Linda LaPlante, 4.0 average rating. Things can't get much worse for Detective Jane Tennyson. I bet they can. Yeah, I know, but it's authors that like to be dramatic, don't they? Yeah, sorry, fair enough, go on. After being kicked off the adrenaline-fueled flying squad, Tennyson finds herself working in a sleepy police station in London's affluent Knightsbridge. When you said I could help, I didn't know this would be set in Knightsbridge. I hate it there. I'm out of here. Dylan? Dylan! I need you for this. Oh, for God's sake. Guess I'll do it myself. After being kicked off the adrenaline-fueled flying squad, Tennyson finds herself working in a sleepy police station in London's affluent Knightsbridge. She can feel her career flatlining. That is, until she stumbles across the most brutal murder she's ever seen. Charlie Foxley has been beaten to death with a baseball bat, dismembered and disemboweled. Foxley was a big-time theatre agent with lots of powerful friends and just as many enemies. Tennyson must navigate the salacious world of West End show business to find the killer before they strike again. I've got to say, Audible is constantly recommending me Linda LaPlante books, I just haven't got round to one yet, so this could finally be the one. Unfortunately, this is book 6 in the series, but it's also a crime series, so that doesn't really matter because they tend to be more episodic, individual cases that are maybe linked by an overarching story, but overall it's not that bad to just dip in and out. This one sounds like it could be fairly interesting. It'd definitely be cool to get an insight into life on the West End, but at the same time I just know that it's going to be filled with snobby, elitist characters that are going to do my head in. Moving on to Young Adult. I Am Not a Number by Lisa Heatfield, 4.25 average rating. The traditionals were voted in to lead the country, winning people over with talk of healing a broken society. They promised stronger families, safer streets, a brighter future for everyone. They didn't promise this. When Ruby is swept up with protesters from the opposition, she's sent to a prison camp far from home, and everything is taken from her, even her name. she's now known as Prisoner 276. With horror mounting in the camp, Ruby knows she needs to get her family out of there and let the world know what's going on. It's actually been quite a while since I read any young adult, and this one doesn't sound bad at all. I've got a feeling that I would have been absolutely obsessed with this as a teenager. The concept maybe sounds a little bit on the nose, and there's definitely potential for it to be done badly, but if it's executed right, I think this one could be pretty cool. The Upper World by Femi Fedipa. 3.75 average rating. If you had the chance to change your future, would you take it? I don't know. Depends how bad it is. If it's bad, obviously I'd change it. Why would I not change it? Anyway, let's get on with it. I'm getting sidetracked. Today. During, arguably, the worst week of Esso's life, an accident knocks him into an incredible world. A place beyond space and time, where he can get glimpses of the past and future. But if what he sees there is true, he may not have much longer to live, unless he can use his new gift to change the course of history. Tomorrow. Ria's life is filled with questions, none of which she expects her new physics tutor to answer. But Dr. Esso isn't there to help her. He's there because he needs her help. To unravel the truth behind a tragedy that happened 15 years ago. A tragedy that holds the keys to Ria's past, and to a future worth fighting for. A mind-bending, young adult, science fiction debut novel that follows two teenagers, a generation apart, whose fates collide across time, and outside of it. Apologies if I butchered the author's name, I've never heard of them before, and I'm only going off what it sounds like when Talkback reads it out. I can't lie though, I'm always down for a bit of time travel. I just love the exploration of what you can and can't, or should and shouldn't do, and how your actions affect the outcome of things. I always think it's fun to see what kind of time travel they employ and what the rules are. I've just always been a bit of a time travel nerd, to be honest. Finally, we arrive at Bestsellers. Worst Idea Ever by Jane Fallon. 3.99 average rating. Best friends tell each other everything. Or do they? Georgia and Lydia are so close they're practically sisters. So when Lydia starts an online business and it struggles, Georgia wants to help, but Lydia isn't the sort of person to accept handouts. In hopes of providing some moral support, Georgia sets up a fake Twitter account to pose as a potential customer. But when Lydia starts to confide in her new online friend, Georgia discovers she doesn't know Lydia quite as well as she thought she did. Georgia knows she should reveal the truth, especially when Lydia starts to talk about her. But then, Lydia reveals a secret that could not only end their friendship, but blow up Georgia's marriage. What can she say? What should she do? What can she save? Their friendship? Her marriage? Or just herself? Ooh, a bit of drama. This one sounds like it'd be kinda like reading gossip, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I've already said I'm a nosy bastard. This is another one that sounds like it could be quite interesting. If it's executed well, I think it could be pretty good. I just hope that whatever secret Lydia reveals, it's not just, ooh, I slept with George's husband, because that's super obvious. I do also think that it has the potential to be super boring and a bit frustrating, like, come on guys, sort it out, it's not that bad. Bloody hell. It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. 4.44 average rating. Sometimes it's the one you love who hurts you the most. Lily's never had it easy, but that's never stopped her from working hard for what she wants, and she's come a long way from the small town in Maine where she grew up, graduating college, moving to Boston, starting a business. When she feels a spark with gorgeous neurosurgeon Ryle Kincaid, she starts to think her life must be too good to be true. Ryle is assertive, stubborn, maybe a little bit arrogant, but he's also sensitive, brilliant, and has a total soft spot for Lily. The fact that he looks great in a set of scrubs doesn't hurt either. Lily can't get Ryle out of her head, but his total aversion to relationships is disturbing. Even as she finds herself becoming the exception to his no dating rule, she can't help but wonder what made him that way in the first place. She finds herself overwhelmed by questions about her new relationship and thoughts about Atlas Corrigan, her first love, and a link to the life she left behind. Atlas was her kindred spirit, her protector, and when he reappears, everything Lily has built with Ryle is threatened. If this is one of the ones I end up reading, I'm just not sure what to expect. I really liked Verity, but I also know that that's supposedly quite different from the sort of thing Colleen Hoover usually writes. I can't help but laugh at this description though. His total aversion to relationships is disturbing. Disturbing? Seems a bit overboard. I don't know, it just seems like Lily's going to end up needing to choose between two hot men that are equally good and bad for her in different ways, and I'm just going to end up like, just pick one. So, that's all of them. Bit of a mixture here really, but that's a good thing. I honestly had quite a lot of fun wandering around W.H. Smith's just randomly pointing at things, and I definitely want to do it again in future. I feel like it's a good way of choosing some books that I wouldn't necessarily read otherwise. Who knows? Next time I might go to the fantasy section. There's one or two that I'd rather not read, but for the most part they all sound pretty interesting, and I can't wait to see what you guys choose. If you want to take part in this, go drop your vote in the comments section, and I'll be back on Saturday to announce the winner, spin the wheel, and choose one myself. My question for today is this: if you had to choose a celebrity to narrate your autobiography, who would it be? I'd go with either Carl Pilkington or Ian McKellen. Two totally different vibes, but there you go. If you've enjoyed this video, the like and subscribe buttons are just sitting there, waiting to be pressed. Now press them, or I'll stab your eyes out. Alright, might have got a bit carried away with that one today. If you want to get in touch, say hi and have a chat, you know where the comments section is, and the link to my Twitter can be found in the description. Thanks ever so much for spending time with me today, guys. Until next time, take care. For now, I'm off, and you should have a good one. This is a hard letter to write. I hope you don't hate us too much. My son broke into your house recently while you were out. This is a hard letter to write. I hope you don't know that's terrible. Don't do that. This is a hard letter to write. I hope you don't hate us too much. My son broke into your house. Sounds like Moriarty from Sherlock.